Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 25th regular meeting of Walpole Select Board. It's after 7 o'clock, and I call the meeting to order. Let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So our first order of business is a meeting with Craig Liquor from the Auto Emporium, LL. What you're planning to do up there?
Hello, my name is Craig Liquor. I have a business on 44 Production Road, it's the Auto Emporium. What I'm trying to accomplish today is to get a Class 2 license where I plan on doing online sales, which is wholesaling. Buying from the auction and then selling back to the auction or online wholesale platforms. I reside in Hyde Park. I'm 57 years old. I'm 5'6". I'm single. I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here and for opening up business here in the town. We appreciate that. I looked over the paperwork. It looks good to me. I did note that you mentioned that in the future you might be looking to expand to include in-person sales.
Correct.
Of course, that'll require a special permit with the zoning board. So, and that's fine. That's for somewhere down the line.
That'd be great. I appreciate
So,
that.
yeah. So, welcome to Walpole. And,
Thank you.
let me open up to the board for any questions or comments.
No questions.
Okay. Being none, I'll take a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the request of the Auto Emporium LLC for a Class 2 dealer license to operate at 44 Production Road with no in-person sales.
Second?
Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 500. You're all set. Good
you.
luck. Thanks for
you.
being here
Thank
tonight.
you.
Oh, thank you.
I told you.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
I told you it'd be easy.
I know. Thank you. Not that easy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, a little early for open forum, so hold off on that. Moving to new business, we've got 7 zoning articles that we're going to endorse, I guess, or sponsor for the town meeting warrant. Jim, do you want to talk
Just an
to us?
overview of this. So the board's already voted to close the warrant and everything. As you know, the planning board is not going to be sponsoring these articles. And I know generally when Patrick comes before the planning board, he is usually asked, has the select board voted to endorse these? That's why it's more a formality. I know you've already voted to place them on the warrant. Just want to be able to have Patrick answer in the affirmative when he's asked the question. So these are I think you presented them 2 times now to the select board, Patrick. Pretty standard, been reviewed by town council, and we're ready to move forward with them. So recommend favorable action on endorsing these zoning articles.
And can we vote them as a block, or do we have to do them one by one?
I don't see an issue with voting them as a block. It's
Okay.
just voting to endorse 7
Great,
articles.
okay. So before we do that, just as a general statement, this is related to our ongoing work of updating the zoning bylaw here in town. It's a lot of cleanup work, a lot of catch-up work. Most of it is more administrative in nature. There's little at this point of fundamental change, except in a couple areas. One is around the ADUs, the accessory dwelling unit bylaw, which we voted, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. I've lost the total timeline. And then the governor's law comes in on top of ours. And so the work that's happening here is to update our language to incorporate the state level language, but also to put in the controlling features that we can related to this body of work. Patrick, have I said that all correctly? Okay. So the question is going to come up, hey, we just voted this thing, now we're voting it again, why? And it's just a timing issue with the state is really what it comes down to. And then the other one is the floodplain maps are changing, so that's a little bit more substantive than just I's and T's. But that's really the extent of it. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Come on up, yeah.
Yep, that's in terms of, I guess, the 2 bylaws that I would consider like the time-sensitive ones, the ADU and the floodplain are really kind of dependent on meeting compliance with the state guidelines. And then obviously with the release of the new FEMA maps, we want to make sure that we're compliant with the national floodplain. And then the other articles the 5 other ones are more or less cleanup ones
Yeah.
as part of the review process.
Yeah, and they look good. They're tight, they're clean, they're well organized, they read easily, so I think these are all good changes.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Patrick while he's up there? Okay, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to endorse 7 zoning articles on the spring 2025 town meeting warrant.
I'll second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Sure. Next item up is a few fire department related items. And Chief, if you feel like coming up to kind of address these as I introduce them. So, as you know, we received $300,000 this past fall to do feasibility and assessment for the Station 2, the substation here. We're not calling it East Walpole or wherever. We don't know where it's going to go. So we've enlisted the services of TAPE architects who we've been working with through the middle school and high school projects. With Chris Blesson, Patrick and I have a really good rapport with them, and so does Deputy Hoover, who's been sitting in on all those projects, and I know Chief Barry before that. So we're looking to move forward with this. I figured it'd be a good opportunity for the chief to come in and provide you with an update as to what we're doing, why we're looking to award 2 contracts with this one, just to cover all our bases. So Chief, you want to kind of cover some things?
Sure, exactly. So the first one to TAP A is going to be more of a finalizing everything for us, and they'll do a building assessment of what we have currently, what our needs are after consulting with the second request that I'm asking for from ECSI. That will be more of an in-depth study on what our current operations are, what our staffing capabilities are, what type of apparatus we have, our deployment mode, and narrow down our response times, where the most optimum station should go, if we can have an appropriate spot in that area, not just us trying to find a location that fits. So it'll be it's a national company, well represented, well recommended, and they'll also develop a deeper long-term look as to what projected growth Walpole is projected to have, and make recommendations on how we should staff, how we should deploy from that operation. So a very in-depth operation, and we're looking forward to that. We had a meeting with them both yesterday online, and they're ready to jump in and ready to move as soon as we provide them information and the appropriate paperwork. So we're excited to work with both of them. As Jim said, we have worked with TAPE before, so they're a known quantity, and there's a comfort level and an ability to a good rapport with them. So with that, any questions that I could?
Questions or comments? Glenn?
Well, so I have a lot of questions that I'm not necessarily going to ask today, but about the size and the cost and the location. But what you just addressed is, you noted that all these things are going to be considered in this study, and so asking those questions now almost is putting the cart before the horse. And so I won't dive into that. Just one lingering question. I know we mentioned Station 2 as sort of the target, and relocating it, and where will it go? So I just want to ask you briefly about Station 3, and will that be considered in the study as whether it will be retained, or whether the new Station 2 location would sort of absorb both of those activities?
So we're ideally staffing. Ideally, I'd love to have 3 stations staffed right off the bat, but staffing-wise, we would not be able to do that right now. Financially, it would be a huge burden on the town to place right at this time. Is there a need? In my opinion, there is a need. We've been pretty consistent asking for the numbers that we've been asking for a while. Those haven't changed, but that was part of my request for this study, was to locate, if there was a need for a 3rd station, where the appropriate location would be. Not just the original 3 stations were kind of designed around the factories that were originally in town. The factory workers when a call came in, the factory workers would leave those stations and staff the apparatus that was closest to those stations, and that's how that stations were originally located. The town has definitely changed since those stations were occupied and built, and ideally this company will develop whether we need the 3rd or additional. So
It would be considered almost as an extra aspect to all this. The Station 3 currently unstaffed.
would probably be a further, like you said, for some A third station would be a further on down the road, but their recommendation on, where we should go.
We'll look at everything.
That's my goal to, and like I said, in-depth staffing, in-depth locations and deployment.
Great, when will we have some information from them to consider? Or when will you have some information to consider? Like, when will it take place and when will it be completed?
So we'll have to provide them, we'll have to provide them all of our demographics, all our response times, all of our call numbers, our staffing, our SOPs, and as soon as we get all that information and they're able to digest that and quantify that, then they're saying within 30 to 45 days after that. So
Great.
we've already started to, we've started the process of gathering some of that information and planning how we're going to go about getting that stuff to them. And then a little further, our goal is to have it spring, summer, a formalized, wrapped-up project.
That's great.
Report back for all of us.
Thanks, Chief.
Great. Thanks, Glenn. Others?
Yeah, I just wondered, Chief, have we ever had a deployment study or any study like this done in Walpole? Like, is there a starting point for them in terms of?
The starting point is, it would be all the information that we would provide.
Right.
As far as we've had another company come on in
Right.
and make the request, nothing as this magnitude.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
more of an independent, not independent, internal evaluation of our
Right,
of our needs. So
right. Okay, cool.
I think
Thank you.
this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
Thanks, Ben. Others? Okay. I'll take a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to award the design services contract for Station 2 feasibility study to Tape Architects in the amount of $28,550 and to Emergency Services Consulting International for the Walpole Fire Department station location and deployment study in the amount of $19,265, and further to authorize the town administrator to sign all related contract documents.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 500. That's great. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got, also with you, Chief, the discussion and vote on ambulance rates. So you want to take us through that?
Correct. Our ambulance billing service provided us with their recommendations on the rates. Those are noted down below in the document, and that would, my understanding is the other chiefs, the other departments are reviewing these numbers as well and making adjustments as they determine and see fit as well.
Yeah, so as I've looked at these, they look reasonable to me, and especially as we look at the list of towns that you've got here. I always have questions around payment on these and how much is paid through private insurance and other insurance, and, how well we're chasing after, particularly those insurance payouts, but also then people who are paying on their own, how well we're collecting those receipts.
Sure, so we have a Comstar, the billing company, does a good job collecting. I don't have the exact percentage split for our specific, for Walpole. I apologize for that, I can grab you that. But our rates are set. The Medicaid rates are much, much lower, as we've discussed, so those, there is some offset, so if a company does have, if an individual does have Medicaid, they will also bill the health insurance if there is a process. If there is a financial burden, there is a mechanism for the family to reach out through the town and report back to the board with that request. So there is, if there is a burden, an individual, we're not looking to cause more harm to an individual that may be experiencing a difficult time frame. So we do have that mechanism available. Unfortunately, I don't have the breakdown of.
That's fine. I just,
it's-
maybe you could go, that's one of your next updates, maybe you could just fill us in on that. But, I'm always curious as to, we bill a certain amount, and then the question is, what do we actually collect? And
Exactly.
is there opportunity to do more? So, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Glenn?
Just an observation more than a question, which is that this is one of the few areas that we can collect a fair amount, of decent revenue that doesn't affect the local taxpayer at all. It comes from insurance companies, really entirely. whether it's Medicare or Medicaid, it almost doesn't matter what rate you set because it's going to be less than whatever number you come up with. But the private insurance certainly will pay it. And you provide the service, so you should get reimbursed for it, and we do. So my comment is just, I noticed that we haven't done this for 2 years, which is a reasonable amount of time to reconsider it, and I appreciate you not letting it go more than 2 years. And I think in the past we have, and that can get risky because with, healthcare, the service you provide and the cost of ambulances and personnel and material, and supplies, those rates go up astronomically from year to year. So appreciate you considering it again after just 2 years, and certainly I support it.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had an awful lot of changes in billing, increases, and new charges that we had not had to experience before. So this will help offset those costs.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, could I have a
Make
motion?
a motion to approve the new ambulance rates as recommended by Chief Barry.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
500. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Good
it.
job. Okay, next order of business. Jim, it sounds like you're up to your neck in dirt
Sure,
again.
we are, and just open forum, no one's here.
Oh, okay, yes, a good point. We are past the open forum date. Anyone here for open forum? Being none.
Sure.
Jim, thank you.
Soils at the high school, obviously, I'm asking for the board to retroactively declare the soils at the high school as surplus. As you well know, I've been working with our OPM and project team to figure out what to do with the excess soils up there. We've been able to lose some of it on-site in the actual foundation footings that they've dug up. They've been able to reuse them once the foundations have gone down, but most of it has needed to be shipped off-site. Per the contract, excuse me, the contractor, if they have to dispose of the soil, they charge us $75 a yard. I did the rough calculations. It would have come to a change order, if we get rid of everything, of about $1.3 million added onto this project. So obviously, we're trying to save money. They own moving the dirt 2 times on the project. We've worked with Vertex. If they moved everything only 1 time, we were actually probably getting a $60,000 or $70,000 credit. So we're working with PJ Hayes. He's been great to deal with. He's been taking a lot of the soils off-site and disposing of it for us at no cost. We've talked about the value of it, but to us, the value is actually, he's bringing a loader there, bringing his trucks in there.
Yeah.
That's cost to us. He said, in turn, he has no problem giving us the chipper that we would use at the compost site. That's about $20,000 a year, so we've kind of worked that out, but I think it would be probably in my best interest and the town's best interest to at least have the select board declare this as surplus, even though to me it's a little bit of a gray area. Just to cover everyone, I've asked the board to take this vote. So.
Good, yeah, it makes sense. And I would say it's a great outcome and good thinking on your part on how to resolve what was a thorny issue and could have cost us a ton of money.
Yeah.
So feels like a good solution all the way around. Any other questions or comments for Jim? Could I have a motion, please?
A motion to retroactively authorize the town administrator to surplus excess soil from the high school project at no additional cost to the town.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 5-0. All right, next up, Ben, I think you're going to give us an update on the middle school project.
I can, but if this is the agenda item that I had requested, it was actually the high school project. But
Even
that's
better.
totally fine. I'll give a brief update on the middle school project, which I think is relevant because right now the contractor Fontaine Brothers has stood down for the winter, but the project is not yet over. They have a substantial amount of landscaping to do when they come back in late March or early April, which is weather-dependent landscaping work. And recently, the school building committee also approved a change order to the contract to do additional work at the ball fields there next to the middle school, and then also for the town to do additional paving and sidewalk work for the roads and the sidewalks in the area of the high school that have been worn and damaged during construction. So there's going to be a couple of items going on there in the spring once it warms up, and they're still slated, even with the additional work, to be wrapped up there by the end of the summer.
Great.
and we'll still have, I want to say approximately $600,000, $700,000 remaining in the budget to cover any incidentals or things that take place. So there's still money remaining.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items as listed on the February 25th agenda.
I'll second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 4th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 5-0. And Jim, Town Administrator's update.
Sure, just a few items. Finance Committee, FinCom's meeting again on Monday night, March 3rd. They're going to start talking about the articles, now that we've gotten some feedback from Town Council as to the wording on a lot of them, so they'll make their way through there. I'm guessing they'll also be asking about the Walpole Media Corp budget, which they're set to vote on. Tamara just submitted that to me today, along with the sewer and water budgets, which the commissioners voted last night favorable action on the budgets as recommended, 2-1-0 on the water and 3-0 on the sewer. So things are moving along with town meeting. And lastly, budget update. Pleased to report that we had a meeting earlier today with Glenn and Jim and the school chair, vice chair, Doug Shea, the vice chair of the FinCom. Denny was unavailable. Bridget, myself, Mike, I think we worked out a way to at least halfway bridge the gap on we're at about a $1.3 million gap. We came up with a tentative agreement as to where we could pull 650, address it really in the fall. So more details to come on this, but we're getting them closer to where they need to be, and I think they're going to look for ways to pull back on some certain areas to make up that difference of 650, however they figure out. I know a lot is in circuit breaker hopes, and maybe some additional state aid comes through, but everybody walked away from the meeting this evening pleased, it seemed like, and they were going to bring it back to school committee, and I'll bring it to finance committee on Monday night, and Doug was pleased with it too, so.
No, I thought it was a good meeting and a good outcome, and I appreciate all the work you put into that and the creative thought process that you've brought. We're not getting them all the way there, but we're getting them a good chunk of the way there, and hopefully they can pick up the rest. So we'll see how it goes. But I thought it was a good meeting.
Sure.
Glenn, you were there. Anything you'd add?
Nothing to add.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Jim?
That's it. Any questions?
Any questions for Jim? All right. I guess that's it. So
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor, please say aye. Aye. 5-0. We're now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and good night.